USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
I was born 1925, East 49th Street, New York City. My family, mother, father, two older brothers who later on became soldiers, and myself. I was a third. And of course, my brother Ed was born later on in the Bronx.
I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Oh, gee, when Pearl Harbor, well, I remember the Japanese were, or the diplomats, Japanese diplomats were in New York or in Washington at the time. Nobody ever expected the Japanese, because here on one hand we were talking peace, and on the other hand they were plotting war. Oh, I was drafted. I just got out of high school at the time, so I was drafted, and the first Army base I hit was Camp Upton. But that was called an induction center. First thing I got was a shovel, a spade, and they pointed, latrine duty. We got on a troop train all the way down from Camp Upton, across half the United States. Then we went down to Dallas, Texas. And my camp was Camp Barkley. I had about 3 months of basic training. Oh, a lot of hiking. We used to do 26-mile hikes with a full field pack and this, that, and the other thing, you know. I went to a emergency medical treatment course that I took at O'Reilly General Hospital in Springfield, Missouri. I got 4 months of very heavy training in, materia medica, anatomy and physiology, how to treat certain kinds of wounds which were expected in the Army. When I graduated, I was not quite 19, and my outfit went to a replacement depot. A replacement depot is when they needed replacements for soldiers that were lost. Being not quite 19, they sent me down for another 3 months of basic training again. Oh, yeah, that's me on guard duty with my buddy here. So I trained back at Barkley again. And then I was old enough to join an outfit. Ultimately, I was shipped out to Camp Patrick Henry in Virginia, and from there I went overseas. My unit ended up in Oran, North Africa. And at that time, we had the Army had taken control of all of North Africa. So that was free and clear of all Germans at that time. And we finally went up to Naples, Italy. We disembarked, and again, I was in a replacement depot. They call it a replacement depot. And this was north of Naples, and a place called Caserta. When you're in an army and you're a replacement, you feel you're continually moving. I traveled probably on every kind of vehicle you can imagine. Ultimately, in another couple of weeks, I ended up in northern Italy. I joined a unit at that time, the 671st Medical Regiment of the 5th Army. That's my kit. My outfit gave it to me. It was a pretty much of a used kit. It saw a lot of service, as you could see. There's a tourniquet here, scissors, muscle retractors. Oh, there's a tweezer. That's a little scalpel, a knife for small wounds. And this is actually what they used. Oh, yeah, each one of the guys had that. Well, not everyone, but guys that could use it. Guys that were trained as a medical technician. I was a medical and a surgical technician. I got both.
It was on a dark winter night in central Italy that a group of expert GI rock climbers fixed ropes to the side of this mountain, scaled this ridge in absolute silence, and dealt defeat to the Germans who'd been waiting on top.
The thing that I think won the war in Italy, or helped win the war in Italy, was the capture of, I think, the mountain, Mount Belvedere. The 10th Mountain Division, they actually scaled the mountain. I was in a collecting company, and I gave help and aid to guys that were wounded, and we helped get them into ambulances if they were hurt. We had to be fast, because if you're not fast, they could, bleed to death, some of these guys. Oh, you had to be quick. You were there. Oh, man, medic, medic. Oh, guys would, and big, brave men were crying sometimes. You already got the feeling after a couple of weeks of this thing, you knew right away who was alive, who could make it, and who was dead, who was lying there. And, and we had a team of litter bearers, and we loaded them into ambulances if we had them, or jeeps, because the jeep actually in the war, that war was a all-purpose vehicle. It could do anything, and it did. We collect the soldiers and bring them back to the battalion, the aid station. Battalion aid station was up forward, more closer to the line. They got back to what they call an evacuation hospital, or a clearing company, where the clearing company had a lot more ambulances that they could transport the wounded to an evacuation center. Evacuation, either the clearing company or the evacuation hospital. The evacuation hospital was a hospital that they set up on tents, actually. It was like a little tent city. Yeah, I was in North Apennines and also the Po Valley, but I only got a battle star for the North Apennines campaign. I had about maybe a couple of 6 weeks. 6 weeks of and then I got sick too. I had dysentery. Yeah, I should have known better. I ate some cherries. Yeah. The next month, my entire unit set sail, because we were redeployed to the Pacific. We didn't know where we were going to go, but we were redeployed. We landed in Manila Manila Harbor in the Philippines. And I spent my, maybe another 3/4 of a year in the Philippines. Ultimately, that's where I got discharged in Fort Dix, New Jersey. Proudest moment. I was very happy to get out of the Army. I wanted to go home. That was my proudest. I made it. But you know, my poor brother. I had two brothers, two older brothers that were in the Army. My brother Sam was with Patton in Germany. My brother Leo was in the Army Air Force. My younger brother Ed, by the way, was also in the Army. He was in the Korean War. But my brother Leo was killed in the invasion of Leyte Island. Ultimately, I flew down there and saw his gravesite. War is terrible, you know. And I don't think there's what they call fair play in war. It's not like sports, not like the Yankees.